what's happening, y'all. Holy hell, we've almost finished book 1. How did that happen? By now, I hope your infernal experience has satisfied and drawn you into this epic drama. The final section of Book 1, from lines 705 to 798, characterizes the miraculous completion of Pandemonium and the eerie supernatural diminution of the fallen angels as they prepare for the first Great Council. We encounter the formalization of the Infernal Government through a paradoxical display of magnificence and reduction. As millions of spirits are summoned to the council, a logistical problem arises: how to fit so many massive beings into one hall. Milton solves this problem by showing the demons reducing their shape. They shrink from their giant forms into less than smallest dwarves or pygmies. This characterizes the fallen angels as fluid and hollow. They possess uncompounded spirits that can dilate or contract at will, emphasizing their deceptive, non-physical nature. Milton concludes the book with two of his most famous encyclopedic similes, the similes of the bees and the pygmies. These similes serve as a biting commentary on the demon's nature. The bee simile in particular characterizes the demonic host as a collective industrious hive. However, there is a crucial distinction. While the vulgar masses shrink to fit the hall, the great seraphic lords and cherubim retain their full giant stature in a secret conclave. This establishes the political hierarchy of hell, where a few massive leaders dominate a shrunken, nameless multitude. All right, let's get back into it and wrap this puppy up together. Last time we left off as Milton was describing a second group of demons finding their massy ore and scumming the bullion dross. Our first line begins by referring to a third group of workers involved in constructing the Palace of Pandemonium. And so Milton, the narrator, continues, saying, "A third as soon had formed within the ground of various mold, and from the boiling cells by strange conveyance filled each hollow nook, as in an organ from one blast of wind to many a row of pipes the soundboard breathes. Anon out of the earth a fabric huge rose like an exhalation, with the sound of dulcet symphonies and voices sweet, built like a temple, where pilasters round were set, and Doric pillars overlaid with golden architrave. Nor did there want cornice or frieze, with bossy sculptures graven. The roof was fretted gold. Not Babylon nor great Alcairos such magnificence equaled in all their glories, to enshrine Belus or Serapis their gods, or seat their kings, when Egypt with Assyria strove in wealth and luxury. The ascending pile stood fixed her stately height, and straight the doors opening their brazen folds discover wide within her ample spaces o'er the smooth and level pavement, from the arched roof pendant by subtle magic many a row of starry lamps and blazing cressets fed with naphtha and asphaltus yielded light as from a sky. The hasty multitude admiring entered, and the work some praise and some the architect. His hand was known in heaven by many a towered structure high, where sceptred angels held their residence, and sat as princes, whom the supreme king exalted to such power, and gave to rule each in his hierarchy the orders bright. Nor was his name unheard or unadored in ancient Greece, and in Osanium land men called him Mulciber, and how he fell from heaven, they fabled, thrown by angry Jove sheer o'er the crystal battlements. From morn to noon he fell, from noon to dewy eve a summer's day, and with the setting sun dropped from the zenith like a falling star on Lemnos the Aegean isle. Thus they relate, erring, for he with his rebellious rout fell long before, nor aught availed him now to have built in heaven high towers. Nor did he scape by all his engines, but was headlong sent with his industrious crew to build in hell. Meanwhile, the winged heralds, by command of sovereign power, with awful ceremony and trumpets sound throughout the host, proclaim a solemn council forthwith to be held at Pandemonium, the high capital of Satan and his peers. Their summons called from every band and squared regiment by place or choice the worthiest. They anon with hundreds and with thousands trooping came attended. All access was thronged, the gates and porches wide, but chief the spacious hall, though like a covered field, where champions bold wont ride in armed, and at the Soldan's chair defied the best of Paynim chivalry to mortal combat or career with lance. Thick swarmed, both on the ground and in the air, brushed with the hiss of rustling wings, as bees in springtime when the sun with Taurus rides, pour forth their populous youth about the hive in clusters. They among fresh dews and flowers fly to and fro, or on the smoothed plank, the suburb of their straw-built citadel, new rubbed with balm, expatiate and confer their state affairs. So thick the airy crowd swarmed and were straitened, till the signal given. Behold a wonder! They but now who seemed in bigness to surpass earth's giant sons, now less than smallest dwarves, in narrow room throng numberless, like that pygmean race beyond the Indian mount, or fairy elves whose midnight revels by a forest side or fountain some belated peasant sees, or dreams he sees, while overhead the moon sits arbitress, and nearer to the earth wheels her pale course. They on their mirth and dance intent, with jocund music charm his ear. At once with joy and fear his heart rebounds. Thus incorporeal spirits to smallest forms reduced their shapes immense, and were at large, though without number still amidst the hall of that infernal court. But far within and in their own dimensions, like themselves, the great seraphic lords and cherubim in close recess and secret conclave sat, 1,000 demigods on golden seats, frequent and full. After short silence then, and summons read, the great consult began. Wow. And just like that, Book 1 is a wrap. I'll see you next time for the beginning of Book 2. Ciao.